Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Maple Leaf Reviews. I'm Jeffrey.
I am Jacob.
And what are we doing today?
Before and after, I believe.
What is that?
Well, that's some weird thing that we do. So, where we look at a game before we've ever played it. We look over the rule set, figure out how the game works. We give you our expectations of what we think the game will be like. Then we play it one time and come back and tell you if we were right or wrong or how we felt.
Exactly. So today that game is going to be New Bedford, a game about historical whaling.
Yeah.
And I think that was the thing that made me pick up the game more so than anything was the theme.
Right.
I haven't played a game about whaling. I don't even know if there is many games out there about that subject.
I can't think of any.
But I
didn't even know this one existed. So.
I get the I get the feeling of being like, Moby Dick. I'm on the ship. I'm going out and I'm hunting down these big sperm whales and getting all their oil and coming back.
Those whales hoarding all that oil all the time, right?
So yeah, that was why I picked it up. After having looked at the rules, it seems like a fairly simple, straightforward game.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit worried going in that it's just going to be too simple. And there isn't going to be really much going on that's going to pull me back in and want me to play this game multiple times.
Right. There's 12 rounds in the game. You have 2 workers. In turn order, you go around sending both your workers out. So 24 actions over the course of the game. And the game starts off with 5 action spaces.
Yeah.
3 of them are to get resources, and the other 2 are to put buildings out.
Right.
Actually, there's more because you can
prepare your ships.
Prep for sale. So there's actually 7 action locations at the beginning.
Yeah. So that's my worry going in, is that it's just going to be a little bit too simple. Not a whole lot going on to sink my teeth into, and not going to want to pull me back in. I think the most interesting thing that I'll experience in this game is deciding how far to send my ships out. Right. Like, how much of a haul do I want to get of whales? Because the further out you are, the first pick you get when the whale tokens come up.
Right. Each round.
I think that's going to be the most interesting part of the game for me.
Yeah. And then as you're on your way back in, as you were mentioning earlier before we started recording, as you start heading back in, other people can go out, and now they're further out than you, so now they're getting first pick.
Yeah.
So the order of getting first pick is going to change. Just because you were out there first doesn't mean for the rest of the time game, you're getting first pick. It's when do they set sail and how far out do they go? Yeah,
I think if you go out at the same time as someone else, the person who goes out there first for that round and goes the same distance, because they're each going to be moving back at the same rate. You're always going to get first pick over someone else like that. Yeah. So you're going to make sure not to do that, so you put yourself in a bad position.
Exactly.
With that.
One of my concerns is that just taking a quick look at the game here, it looks like there's only 2 real paths to victory. One is to go whaling, and you're getting points by getting the whales, and the other is to go buildings and construct new action worker locations and get points through those buildings. And that's it. Are you going to go one, the other, or a mix between the 2?
Right.
It seems fairly linear.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that could throw a little bit of a wrinkle into this game is making sure you have enough money to pay the wages of your crew when you return with these whales. Because, you can come back with all these really high point value whales, but if you don't have the money, you're going to have to offer those to sell to other players. So you don't want to come back with a huge load. I can't sell anything. Oh, wait, I've just given all these points to my opponents.
For sure.
So I think that is going to be another thing to try and manage.
All right. Well, was there anything else?
No, let's get it to the table. We'll come back and see what we think of New Bedford.
Let's do it.
Welcome back, everyone. We just finished our first play of New Bedford. Now, a little bit of info into our first play. We played 3-player, and it took us 43 minutes. So
pretty good for first play of a game.
Yeah, and it was about the time length that I was expecting, given you only get 24 actions in the game.
Sure. And
the action spaces are pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Go here,
complicated.
Get 3 wood. Go here, get 3 food. I'll get a few things here, might sell a few things here. It's nothing like a 10-step action that you're doing at a location space.
Sure.
So yeah, I felt it did clip along pretty quickly.
Yeah, I felt like the turns were going by very fast.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it was halfway through the game, and I'm like, oh, man.
Where
like,
are
I
my
need to get
whales?
this done and this done. And
So, yeah, what did you think? What was your first impressions?
meh.
Yeah.
I felt like it was just very basic. There wasn't enough going on in the game to keep me fully engaged. It was just my whole tactic in the game was I'm going to send out a ship right away to do some whaling, and then as that ship is catching whales and coming back, I knew I had to pay for the whales or pay the workers when they got back for how much work they did. So then it was just make as much money as I can so I can afford to pay it.
Yeah.
And then do it again.
I felt it was like a whole 1-2 punch worker placement game. I send one worker to get these resources, and I send another worker to go use those resources.
Sure.
Then I do it again. Then I send one worker to get these resources, send another worker to go use those resources.
Yeah.
So you're not really building anything up. You're just always 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
Yeah.
So I didn't really feel a whole lot of development in the game that way. I was just constantly doing that.
Yeah, not engaged at all. It was just kind of there's no long-term planning really. It was just like, I do this now, okay, refresh, start over. I do this right now, refresh, start over next turn.
Yeah. The other thing about the whaling is supposed to like decline to be less and less whales as the game went on because you're taking them from the bag. I mean, there was a little bit of that, but I still felt like there was a lot of whales coming out even near the end of the game.
Right.
But the most interesting part about the game, and it was basically how you won the game, was me and the other person at the table couldn't afford all the whales when we returned home, and you had all this money, and you just bought them up from us and scored like almost 20% of your points.
Yeah, it was just like, oh,
Just for
thanks for
doing
doing all that work for me.
Yeah.
I'll just take the points. Thank you.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
So, I don't know, though. I don't feel like there was enough going on to make me want to play this game even a second time. I wouldn't, if someone was like, oh yeah, I really want to play this game, I'd be like, okay, sure. I don't think I would ever ask for this game to come to the table.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way. I didn't think the game was bad. Like, it worked.
It wasn't bad at all.
Everything worked fine. I wasn't 100% engaged the entire time. I don't think I would ask for the game to come to the table, but if someone really wanted to play it, then I would say, yeah, let's just go catch a few whales.
Yeah. There is one thing that I wanted to say as well that I felt like was a designer flaw. There are these 20 building tiles that you can construct over the course of the game, and on the front of the tile, it has what the action space does using just iconography. On the back side of the tile, it tells you what the action does in full text paragraph, and then has the resource cost to purchase that. So you had to keep it flipped over on the back side so you could see what it cost to buy. But then anyone sitting and looking at these paragraphs upside down isn't able to read them. So then you have to reach over and grab each one, trying to figure out what they do. If there was just the iconography of what it did on the back and then an explanation in the rule book, I felt like that would have been a lot better. You could just glance over all the abilities, know what they do.
The other thing I was surprised with in the game, I didn't think we would have built as many buildings as what we did.
Sure.
We almost built all of them, and if someone was focusing on that, we probably could have built.
Oh yeah, and if we had another player, because it goes up to 4 players, I think all of them would have been built except for maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was interesting because when I first looked at the buildings, I was like, man, these resource costs are pretty high. Right. I felt like it was going to be hard to do that.
Yeah.
And no, not at all.
All right, well, that was New Bedford. Don't forget to go down, hit the like button. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We always appreciate when you do that.
We sure do. And you can go down into the description down below, and you can click on our link to our website where we have a podcast where we talk for 3 hours about board games.
Excellent. All right, see you guys next time.
Take care.